By the end of today's video, you will know how to speak confidently in any situation. When you meet someone for the first time, you can basically predict what they will ask you. It generally involves two questions. What do you do and where are you from? Instead of literally just saying where you are from, what if you did this instead?
So I was born and brought up in Jamshedpur. I'm a Tamilian, so I also belong to Tamil Nadu. My childhood was spectacular. I don't think that many would have had the fortune of growing up in a fantastic city like Jamshedpur.
Even if you haven't lived in multiple places like he has, after mentioning where you are from, you can still talk about why you liked or didn't like where you're from.
We knew how to deal with children on the street and, play gulli danda and gobar danda and find trees for a holika and play holi on the streets. At the same time, be introduced to computers and live a very sophisticated Victorian sort of a lifestyle because of the Tatas in Jamshedpur.
The reason people ask this question is just to learn about you so that conversation can keep going. But the best way to form connections early on is to bring up your interests in conversation.
So I'm a RC pilot, so I fly planes and helicopters that I build. Golfing, which is another sport. I'm a biker. I love super bikes, and I'm an engineering enthusiast, so I do that. I'm a skier. I love skiing. I write stories wherever I go and speculate with people. I love finding new vegetarian cuisines around the world.
The people that have the same interests as you will immediately connect with you. But when you can't find a common interest early on, you can still take what they say and add to it like this.
Sometimes I'll just spend on something in order to motivate myself.
Fair enough. Oh, so I'll tell you how I do that.
Sometimes this can make the other people feel like you're taking over the conversation and only talking about yourself, which is why induce interest in what you're saying first.
Most expensive thing I have bought? Oh, crap.
After he says that, you basically have to know what it is. Here's another example.
Rest is history. I joined electronics in Kolhapur of all the places. That turned out to be the best decision of my life.
When he says it was the best decision of my life, you immediately wonder why. But let's say suddenly your mind goes blank and you don't know what to say. In those situations, externalize your internal dialogue.
Whatever you're saying, if you say it with respect, I've realized that the information, the idea goes across without the anger. So what I was trying to say is that completely lost my thought on that suddenly.
People come together.
No. So I would
Polite.
So when you say things politely,
just one sentence to point out you've lost your train of thought will give you enough time to figure out what to say next. Or when you run out of topics to talk about, ask people their opinion on something like this.
I'm going to put one more factor into play right now. This is my theory, but I would like you all to weigh in on it and see if it makes any sense.
Now, most viewers of this channel are professionals or founders. Whenever you're speaking or presenting to your team, one problem you might run up against is that you're rambling or fumbling. The reason that happens is often you lack an anchor when you speak. Your entire talk should come under a headline statement. That means when you start speaking, your first sentence should address what people are going to learn when you are done speaking.
I'm going to speak to you on my idea of wellness, but I can tell you with complete certainty that it has worked for me. It has really changed the way my life has been proceeding when I was made aware of these facts.
This statement does not have to be complex. Something as simple as, today I'm going to tell you how we plan to reduce our website loading time by 10% is good enough. One sentence will set the tone for your entire talk, and it will also inform what you say next. All these habits can be tough to remember, which is why I've made a short confident speaking guide that you can download from the link in the description. Then there's the question of rate of speech, which is how slow or fast you speak. Speeding up when you're repeating your point or giving examples, and then slowing down when you come to your key idea is enough to convey confidence. What's a great example of that here?
Economic superpower and supremacy in rocket and space technology, which I'm privy to, and then the IT giants and smarter cities. But ladies and gentlemen, I really believe that more than smarter cities, we require smart villages.
And when you do mention your key idea, you need to box it in. That means you talk about what it is not before you mention what it is.
It's about Vashikaran. Black magic is not an all-encompassing word for Vashikaran. Hypnosis is not an all-encompassing word for Vashikaran, which is, Vashikaran basically means taking over somebody's mind and convincing them so much that people start behaving completely irrational.
This contrast will make your ideas more persuasive because generally we remember things in relation to other things. As an example, if you're ever talking about metrics or data, instead of just talking about one metric, you can talk about a quality and a quantity metric together. Now that we've learned how to speak, we must go over what to do when you're not speaking. If you want to have presence that draws people to you, it's often not about what you say. It's more about what you do when you're not speaking, which brings us to shining the spotlight back on them. There are two major benefits of listening. It will help you to focus externally so you stop feeling nervous. And you will always know what to say next without your mind going blank. Watch how Madhavan picks up on Iron Man here.
Company and then got into mountains, did paragliding, mountaineering, various other sports, finished Ironman, and then I started my own company called Fitso, which was into sports.
So, you said you were into Ironman. It's not an easy job to do, right? Can you explain a little more about Ironman?
In past videos, I've talked about benefits of repeating their words back to them.
Packaging is everything.
Packaging is everything, and charging for it, I think, you know.
And I've also talked about paraphrasing, which is summarizing what they said in your language.
Yeah, like what you said about sleeping.
Sleep.
About, hydrating yourself.
Yes.
About not taking stress and understanding.
Stress management.
Slowing down.
Correct.
All these don't cost money.
Now, those videos on listening will be linked in the description if you're interested. But for now, I want to focus on an area of listening that nobody focuses on. And that is listening to yourself. Listening to yourself is as important as listening to others in any interaction. One area where listening to yourself will be incredibly helpful for you is noticing where in your life you're frustrated with somebody else. Generally speaking, that is an area where you need to draw a boundary.
You stopped putting those messages. You stopped putting those photographs. You stopped, like you said, now the 30%, you stopped saying that, okay? And then the fact that you couldn't say it starts getting irritating. And that starts on your mind. And you're saying, I'm not a pushover. What the hell? Who are these bastards?
I will talk about boundaries in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed for that. But that brings us to the final habit in today's video, and that is storytelling with stakes. If you ever want to persuade or entertain someone, storytelling is the best tool that I know of. Many people start their stories wrong. A story is not a step-by-step sequence of events. That is an anecdote. The best way to start a story is by creating a curiosity gap. This means you mention what is going to happen, which makes people wonder how it happened. Here's an example.
Because when you assume, and as the spelling goes, you make an ass of you and me. I'm going to tell you how that happened to a friend of mine.
Every good story needs a point of tension, which is where the stakes are high and something bad could happen if things go wrong. To do that, you have to set up stakes. Here's what stakes look like.
1 month before the shoot was to start, I'm writing this, I'm producing this, I'm directing this, I'm acting in it, and I'm doing it in 3 languages, live sound in 8 locations around the world. Another huge cap is forced on my head, helmet sort, which is to direct the project. And I've never, ever commanded a set.
If you don't know how to set up stakes, use emotionally evocative language. People may not be able to relate to the exact tension you create in your story if they don't have context, but they can still follow along if you create stakes using emotional language like this.
I just was picked up and thrown in the deep end, and I had to direct this movie. It is not even a challenge. It's horrifying. You wouldn't know the true meaning of mania and fear when you stand on that set and 150 people are ready to pass judgment on you because they think you're making the biggest mistake of your career.
Then there is the moral or the point of your story. First, watch here as he points out that it's going to be a lesson about stress. For context, he's talking about his experience directing a movie.
The biggest lesson on how to handle stress in my life was kind of given as a boon to me before the first shot of rocketry.
Then he sets up stakes by talking about how he was feeling in those moments under pressure.
Because I was so nervous and I was standing there and I was wondering, what am I thinking, Maddie? How are you going to do this? This is ridiculous. If you don't even never called action or cut in your life.
And finally here, he gives you the resolution of a story as he's talking about what a friend told him.
And he called at the right time and he said, Maddie, you're already there, man. What are you going to lose? Put the camera. Just take 1 shot. If you think you're still not getting it, cancel it after the end of the day. But take your first shot now. Look right in front of your step. Just take that 1 step and the next step. And I ended up finishing rocketry.
Storytelling is a fantastic skill to learn because it will help you in almost any situation. If you want to do a deep dive on storytelling, watch this dedicated video I did on storytelling a few months ago.